Good morning.
Are we recording now? Let me just set this. Give me a minute to set up. Thank
It's all
you.
right. This is
I
all.
thought I'd do it outside because it's nice, isn't it?
It's all off the cuff stuff. This is why, we're having a bit of fun. It doesn't matter, even if you're turning the camera around. They get that on the news, don't they? When you get someone set up, they're sat down, they could have to turn their camera around a little bit. Sometimes they don't even hear them. Hello? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? No? Oh, yeah, we've lost their sound. Sorry, we'll have to go in about 2 seconds. That's what usually happens. Anyway, I'd like to introduce you all. Welcome to the Phil Carew Show. This is off the cuff, and as it's unedited as well, this is going to be a great honour to have Francesca Treymaine, or would you like to be known as Lia? Whichever.
Francesca Lia Treymaine.
There you go, Francesca Lia Treymaine. Yeah, what I'd like to ask you as well, just to let the audience know, because obviously this is not live, this is pre-recorded as well. I know we're going to have some more of these in the near future. I've got a good feeling we will. Is how did you start off with getting interested in becoming an actress? Was it an early age, or was it later on in your life? How did you discover it?
It was at an early age. So from like 3 years old, I was doing impressions and I was just quite dramatic, and I was acting, doing Lambda exams. So at school, throughout school, and going to festivals, doing it, and I'd win them, and I could just do it. It was something I just loved to do, and I could do it. And my skill was being able to, go into a beingness and become that person, and lift something off a page. And
yeah,
so yeah, I did it from being little. I mean, then it went on and on. And at GCSEs, I got 6 C's, a D, and an A star. And my A star was in drama, so it was like, I mean, that's what I'm doing. The rest I don't have much interest in.
Hey. So, in regards to that, did you go when you went into that? Did you go into like an academy or an acting school after that to pursue your acting skills further to enhance them?
I did. Yeah. So I did my drama lessons, and my dad would take me to my festivals, which I loved. He was brilliant. He always supported me in my drama, which was amazing. And I then went on and did a BTEC. So I left school after my GCSEs and went to a performing arts kind of college. And then I went on to university and did performing arts. So, yeah.
Oh, brilliant. I'm going to be very random, but I think you was going to be aware of this because you know what I'm like, don't you, Francesca? She's got
Go
a
on.
smile on her
Here we
face.
go.
Okay. If you had any superpowers out there, and being an actress, because you're good at impressions, who would you like to be as a well, it doesn't have to be a well-known character. Well, it can be actually. It can be anything. It can be a combination of different superpowers and become your own superhero. And what would you use them for?
So is this you asking what superpower I'd have?
Yeah, what superpower?
Or what actress I like?
Well, either you could be one, you could be your own one, a superpower. And what kind of superpowers would you have, and what would you use them for?
Having a superpower.
Yeah.
I think it's a difficult one because I feel like as an actor, we kind of have superpowers. We're very good at perceptions.
Yes.
Like I can perceive, which is beyond that necessarily of it's not physical, is it?
No.
My perceptions are not physical. So I would say I perceive very well. I can read situations, read people, understand things, have a high knowledge and spiritual awareness and things. So I'm just thinking, what else? I suppose I'd be able to, I would like to be able to pick things up without having to pick them up. So like I could move the sea, or just with like quite fast though.
Yes.
Like with no energy, or I could pick up a table. Ooh. and
Wow.
Get rid of that. So yeah, so just by I'd have that.
Goodness. Wow. That's quite
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Who and what would you have dinner with, in regards to whether you can be two, you can have more than one person if you like. They could be either be historical, that would be like dead or alive. And what would you say to them, and why would you have dinner with them, and what would you say to them right now, sort of conversation wise?
I'd have dinner with Tom Cruise
Oh, that's a good one.
because I think he's at the top of his game
Yes.
and I admire him so much. And it would just be just to be around his beingness, who he is,
Yes.
and have a sense of him in that. And I'd ask him questions. What were the actions that he took? And I know that he just used to hang around at film sets, and I think it was a lot of doing this, a lot of doing this. But yeah, I'd have dinner with Tom Cruise.
Oh, brilliant. Wow. Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that actually. Just ask him about his his skills, his stunt skills. He does his own stunts, doesn't he? My
He does
goodness.
everything. Yeah, he's incredible.
Wow. When he did the film, was it The Mummy? I think I couldn't believe it. It was like part of it was filmed in London, wasn't it? There was some scenes were filmed there. And they were doing that.
He was in Yorkshire at one point filming, I think, the his latest film that's out now, Top Gun. Yeah.
Ah. As the audience in here, if I was to be like a beginner and I was stuck, I was a bit lost, didn't know what to do, what bit of advice would you give to those, in starting? Because sometimes you just think, well, I'll look online, you look at things, and you sign up, and then you get some people where it becomes like one of those feelings where you think, hang on a minute, it looks really exciting. I don't know what to do. I'll make some phone calls. I'll do all the other bits and pieces because they follow instructions and that, and then that's it. They're stuck. What else do they? What can they do? What bit of advice could you give? And even if you have anything there, would you be able to have anything to help them? In sort of services wise, because it'd be good to hear. Because some people they just think, oh yeah, you hear some people in interviews like, oh yeah, you pursue your dream, you do that and you do all this and you do that. And then you're like, well, I did all that. What else can I do? And then you hear somebody says, oh, actually, yeah, I know someone. I can refer you to them. But then how do they reach them? Because you don't know, they have to do so much of these different things to be able to get to like someone like yourself or somebody else, what can they do?
Well, I mean, for me, I'm self-represented at the moment, and I'm doing well. I'm bringing in my own work. I'm making a living as an actor, and that feels wonderful. So I know how to get somebody from a standing start to be able to make money through the art of acting. And it is a business, absolutely. And it's like any business, I guess, in a startup or anything like that. You have to put a lot of work in. You have to be doing, and there are things and platforms that absolutely enable you to do that. And the more you do, the more opportunity you create, the more luck you
Yes.
create,
Yes.
and just be doing it. I think leave your ego out the window and go. It's a pride thing. Pride is different. I would say it's more of an integrity thing. As long as you're proud of yourself and what you're doing, so take those small parts. Take anything, do anything. Go hang around with people that are doing it, and keep statistics in your business, and so you can monitor where you're at. Even if you're on a down day, you kind of like, well, actually my stats are up, so I'm doing well. And have faith. But it is, having people on your team is really important as well, and confidence, and it very much depends on the person as to where they're at in do they believe it's more confidence they need help with? Is it the business side of things? Is it that they're starting and they want to practice their acting because they're not confident in that? and there's different, ways around it. But yeah, absolutely, I can definitely start somebody in the business of acting and get them to a point where they are making a living.
There you go, folks. So
Yeah.
before the end of this interview, let us know, and then who knows? You don't know. This is why I started doing this. You see, Francesca, I started doing this because I wanted to build something special to be able to help others, not just actors, actresses, but people that would like to build their confidence. Now, part of it is actually to be on the camera, like on here right now, for example. Now, some people, whether it's live or not, they feel that they're lacking that confidence and being able to have that form of perfection, where they see doesn't necessarily have to be always perfect, because the imperfections of that bring out another part of you that could be like a character, where you could home on that as from a weakness to being an actual strength, because that sense of vulnerability, isn't it? You think, well, if I can feel like this, I know what it feels to be vulnerable. So when you end up having a sort of character, you can bring that part of that vulnerability into that character, because we take some of these feelings and emotions for granted, don't we? When we actually start acting and someone says, right, I want you to feel, look vulnerable now. And you're like, oh, hang on, let's out. how do I start? And then you start thinking, hang on a minute. And you're going back into yourself in your mind, tweaking things. You think, this is how I know how it feels like. You have to dig down a little bit deeper, because I've noticed it in your characters. I find it very entertaining. I love your videos. You should see some of the videos that Francesca has one day when went in another time, because it's brilliant when she does auditions. She's brilliant with accents. I love your accents, what you do, and the other characters that you play. There was one of my favourite ones, I must admit to the audience, was when you was with another lady um, on a set where you had to compete to being a character as a queen, and both of you were on there. And
That was an improvisation. We
yeah,
did
it
it
was
in the
brilliant.
moment.
It's
And I
brilliant.
think that's the thing with actors a lot is I understand you were saying go back to past, but I don't think that's healthy for an actor mentally.
Mm-hmm.
Um, personally, I think well, I've got my own way of doing it,
Yeah.
and it just is, it's quite instant with me. I just
Wow.
be it. There's no
That's amazing.
I think that's naturally what actors do, isn't it? We just
Yeah.
be it. But if you have
Yeah.
to start going into your past, and then that's where things like, the Joker, the guy,
That's right.
he did, and he ended up killing himself and or whatever and dying, and it's I think it's really important to protect that,
Mm.
and to be able to drop the beingness, drop the character.
Mm.
So you pick it up, you become it, and then you can drop it.
Mm.
And
That's
I
amazing
think
skills, because I
it
think
is really, isn't
sometimes,
it?
yes, it is.
It is.
It's brilliant, because it must be hard, because sometimes, I've had this conversation with some family friends, and they said that when you try and pretend to be something and you go into this character, you sometimes it's easy, depending on how you're feeling and how you're trying to portray that character with, in your mind as if you were that character, and then you could just switch just like that. It's amazing, because you get sometimes, like you said, it happens to those, unfortunately, with the Joker, the actor that played the Joker in I think Dark for a while I can remember, Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there, when it comes to the actual character, you do get quite a lot of those sort of characters where they can be very, very deep, can't they? They can be very, very dark, very deep. And then I think depending on who you are, I think it's brilliant skill though, regardless, as an actor, a
It's a
skilled actor
great
like
ability.
yourself. Yeah, you can just switch, and especially when you do something spontaneous as well, because I admire the way you can do something. You like, from one moment you could be acting as if you were a queen, to the moment you're like, I'm going to get you. into like sort of intense. And then the moment you're like, oh, hello, you're right. It's amazing. It's just,
Thank you.
it reminds me of, you're like a female version of Robin Williams, when he
Right.
switches, he switches characters and he can do the accent, just like that. It was just amazing. I was just watching Mrs. Doubtfire the other day, and I was just thinking, I wonder what, if I mentioned something like this for Francesca, it'd be amazing. And just even say that. And I thought in my head just now, I just thought, yep, I've gone and done it. I've said it now. We're gonna have a bit of fun with this, because I've had a lot of great responses recently, and I think it's just the approach as well, how we approach things as well, to sort of better, like putting it in perspective. It'd be great to see some other people, be able to sort of reach you. Have you got any other sort of things like facilities to be able to contact you? Have you got your own sort of agent, or someone for you, or even like you said yourself, that will be able to sort of get to you, and
Yeah,
say,
I mean, I'm on Instagram, Francesca Lia Treymaine,
yeah.
and also I'm on Spotlight. So
Okay.
anybody needing help there, and I have an email. I can pop my email down if anybody needs to contact me with that. If they're wanting help in their career to do with acting, I can absolutely help in that area. Yeah. Artists are beautiful, like beings, souls, and I admire every single one of them. And it's an ability to communicate above normal, whatever normal is.
Yeah.
But we have an ability to communicate, and we do communicate. We communicate our art, whether that's through painting, whether that's through directing, through the camera, in whatever way. And it's a really beautiful expression. And I think there is no right way or wrong way, as long as you're mentally well in doing it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. But I think also when you were saying about insecurities and things coming in, I know I have them. I know I still have them. But I do it anyway.
Brilliant.
So, and I don't know anybody whoever's watching this might not have them. They might have no insecurities whatsoever. Yes. Nothing might happen. They're just able to do it. But I know for me personally, I've had to combat my own insecurities, or falsities, I'd call them, not insecurities, falsities, which aren't true, that happen. And when you think, right, I'm going to go do this thing, and then suddenly it's poof, whatever goes on, and it's going, right, I'm doing this anyway.
Yes,
I'm doing it anyway. Whatever is happening, I'm doing it anyway. And I think just showing up and doing it, and that in itself leads to, and being consistent and not quitting. I've had time off. I've had my child. Life has gone the way it's gone, and but no, I'll never stop. Nothing can stop me, and I'll just keep going. Yeah,
brilliant, Francesca. Yeah, in sort of regards to that, for your backstory in there, how I know it must have been sort of tough, because I know personally yourself that you've gone through, but just to let people know, you've gone. Nothing's ever going to be like perfect. When you're going through things, you've gone through your own backstory and your own challenges yourself. It must have been quite a challenge to try and fit everything in. Being able to sort of balance being a mother, an actress, and being able to sort of travel and do things. How did you manage to sort of being able to sort of balance everything, juggle it all, and be able to say, well, look, I've got to do this, I'm able to do it. And because it must have been a challenge. Everyone has their ups and downs, and I admire you, and you've come out, and here you are, you're still around, and you're doing great things.
Yeah, that's it. It is. It is hard having a child. I'm a single mum, and I just in the daily, I was saying to Otis, the cost of just the buses, the school dinners, the feeding, the bills, needing the security of that. You've got all his sports that he does. It's a lot, and taking him to all his practices and stuff like that. And there is challenges all the time. So, but prior to that, I think I tried to do other things to put a more stability income coming in for him.
Yes.
But for me, I can't ever back off on my goal.
No.
And I don't care how many lifetimes it takes. I do complete the goal, and I just keep going and keep going and keep going, and nothing will stop me. And I'm so certain in that. So it might be a time period of, okay, we've had 13, 14 years there that has been difficult. He's now coming out. I've got the help around me. My brother's amazing, completely helps me. And I'm now building my life so I can do the things that I need to do. I can be away. And that happened. That was a time where I did bits, but I kept it, the dream was so there, it would eat me.
Yeah.
Would eat me, and the dream of it. I can't not do it. So like I say, you just keep going. And I think Judi Dench said something really beautiful as well. She said something about the body, like the body's going to fade. The body will fade and all of that, but your art doesn't. My art's my communication. It's a communication I put out to the people that create an effect in them. And that's my art. This is just a vessel I use to do that with and express myself with. So that was it's really beautiful. And the effects that create. And I want an entertained audience. My purpose is to entertain people, to bring a relief to them from their daily lives, and just zoning out to be able to watch something. Yeah.
No, that's brilliant. How did you get into presenting? Because I noticed over the years, as well as your acting, you're also a presenter. You've been presenting as well as that sort of other part of your talent that you've got as well, presenting. How did you get into
I did radio. I did a lot on radio. So there was a local radio station, and I used to have my own show with that. And it was just, I found it quite, it's like you doing a podcast is presenting, isn't it? It's a community. It's being able to talk to people and have a chat, really. Have a chat, have a brew. People feel comfortable around you. They open up,
Another one here.
Yeah, that's it. And also, I suppose, in presenting in other ways of like sales and things, that I was worked the markets when I was a little girl. I came up from selling all the time. That's a form of presenting. I saw my dad, he'd have a wagon and he'd open up the side of it. Wow. And people get a crowd around him doing this with the towels, and he's not doing it for this price. He's not doing, and they'd be waving their fivers in the air, and then we'd have somebody on the ground that would be coming and collecting them. And that's a form, to me, that was a form of presenting. Yes. And I grew up seeing that, and I loved it. I really, it's brilliant. It's really good fun.
What was your feeling in terms of the first time you encountered being on a set? Because I remember when I was doing something, it's a different world, isn't it, behind the scenes? Because it has other people would feel and see it behind the camera and watching us, but being in front of the camera is totally different, isn't it? Because I can relate to you, but how did it feel for you, when you first ever went on set? And then being able to go, because it's not always short hours. Some of them can be a bit longer, can't they? Depending on how many takes.
Yeah, and it depends on the set. I mean, it's like you could say, how does it feel for you to work in a shop, which is somebody's job? But each shop is different, isn't it? It's very much, how is it run? How is their order? Is it efficient? Is it, are we on track? Can you handle change? Things change quite a lot on sets. Are you okay with that? Are you? But I love it. I love the atmosphere. I love seeing everybody I love it when I see everybody in control of their jobs. They know what they're doing. And each person is absolutely vital, from the runner. It's just a great, it's like a beautiful machine where every piece of that cog is so important, regardless of whether it's deemed at the top or whatever.
That's right.
You take it out and the machine does not work as well. So each person is really important, and it's just vital. And to be able to be part of that, for me, I love it. I really love it.
Do you like the bloopers? I love the bloopers. When you see certain
you have an absolute laugh as well, isn't it? It's great. It's great.
Especially when you're when you're trying to be serious, and there'll be one part. I've seen parts in certain films, and there's no doubt you've probably been in some when you're trying to be really serious, or you could have a character where you're being so intense that you've said something and you're like you got your tongue tied, and then the other actor or actress is looking at you. Was you meant to say that? Was you meant to do that? And sometimes we're not aware of it. That the actual director or producer as well might actually say, actually, that's pretty good. Some of that, because some of it is not scripted or put in. It could be, like you said, improvised. It could be put in because it might actually be better.
Well, I would personally, for me, each director I is different. So I'd find out, what does my director want, and then it's down to me to deliver that. That's my job. So I make sure I'm good at that. So I wouldn't have excuses of I don't know my lines. I wouldn't have excuses of I made a mistake. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't have it. Like, I can say, if they say, do you want to improvise here? Cool, let's improvise. And I wouldn't go into, like, if somebody else has fluffed, or if we fluff something, we fluff it. But I would go in there trying to, I want to over deliver what they want from me. I want to give more always, and more value and exchange in abundance, in as much as I can. And different directors want different things. So it's being able to have a really good understanding with each other, and whoever it is that you're working very closely with, to deliver what's needed and wanted.
Do you think that sometimes, depending on what they want, like you said, when you deliver, do you feel that sometimes, depending on who you're talking to, would be open to certain suggestions? Because obviously there are sometimes, I was surprised with this, there have been some, like on Hollywood Report, for example, there'd be certain people on there where they mention that, and even when you read articles, you think, wow, I didn't know this, that sometimes they have their little take on it. They'll say, well, actually, usually this wouldn't have been in, but they left that in. And you thought, oh, wow, they obviously liked that. Some of them leave it in, don't they? Sometimes they do the whole recording, and then they'll go right all the way up from beginning to end, and then there'll be a bit where in between you think, I was supposed to have done that. And then, like you said, you over deliver. Sometimes you might have actually done better for them than they actually did what they expected, because you've done extra for the character. They just thought, oh, actually they've done better than what I expected for this character. They've brought out more than what I've expected, because you could what it is on paper, it's not always the same as how you've integrated it, as how you've put it yourself, because sometimes you've probably bettered it than what they've expected, like you said, with your over delivering.
Over delivering is in, like, over deliver. I just want to be clear on this. So, like, over delivering is in, I know my lines, I arrive on time, I'm always, there, I'm available, that kind of thing reliable. That's really important. But I think I understand what you're saying. That that's what we do. We look at lines and we become it. But I'm very able to take direction off my director. I like it when I get my directions off my director, because for me, they've got the bigger picture, they've got the bigger vision, and they try this, try that. If they say to me, Franny, go with it and just try something, great, I'll do that. But I'm very able to I can say, if something doesn't feel right, can we try it like this? Or, but really, I can make it right. I can make it feel right. That's my job. I do my job and they do their job. And there's no cross wires on that for me.
That's good.
I really like delivering what they want to see from me brilliantly, And if they say, just do it, I can just do it and bring my take. And if they say, oh, try it more like this, or try like, it's beautiful, I love it.
So you get more of a flow, don't you? And you feel more comfortable with knowing that, okay, look, they're letting me do what I need to do. Let me go and deliver. Let me go out there and do it. And perform. Because
and also tell me how they want it. I can give them it like that. Either way is fine by me. I don't have to have my way. This is what I'm saying, and I think that's important. You've got to be able to take orders as well as give orders. You've got to be able to do that in any environment. And so for me, it's I don't think too much. I just do.
That's why I love watching it's like last night. I was just going through a few audition things that you were doing, because I noticed you do like sharing what you do with your craft and your work and your art. It's brilliant, and you should see it or gents, you should see it, guys, ladies and gents. It's brilliant because like Francesca mentioned, you know, once you get into that zone, you can switch. Once you know,
I do my self-tape so fast.
yeah.
Whether I should say this or not, it's just for me. They're done so fast. And I have a statistic of how many self-tapes I've got out. And I just send out. I believe in quantity. I send out. I do them so fast. They're done. I've got 3 auditions requested. So I've got 3 self-tapes that have been requested for today to do. They'll be done. You know, I do them. It's just what I do. And I do it so much.
Yeah.
It's not, and I don't go into thinking, do I look right? Do I this? Do I that? I do it. I do the job.
Yeah, because, you know, there's one, I think it's when you feel you get to the point of when you're thinking too much, you don't get into the character that you expect them to, because I think you're overemphasizing too much on what you think it's on paper rather than being that, because that's what they want, don't they? In the audition, they want you to show that part.
Just be it. Yeah. Just be it. When a painter paints, he's not thinking, oh, let me think about this. That adds absolutely nothing to. There's suddenly this beautiful, magnificent piece of art, and they're in the zone, and there's no thought, and they're in present time, and there's no thinky. No. There's no, you know, that goes. It's like, so that's why I'm like, this is my tape. My art is right as far as I'm concerned. My actions are naturally right. My art's right. You know, if somebody likes it, they can like it, they can hate it, they can do whatever they want with it. That's theirs then. It then becomes theirs. I've done what I've done, and that's it. No more thought on it.
Yeah. No, that's brilliant. In regards to sort of the acting, now with the acting, how would you sort of advise someone in terms of to start, you know, in terms of if they're like a bit younger, you know, in their sort of youth years, or even now my age now, you know, how would you see in terms of that? Would it be just extra work, or like you said, you mentioned yourself, you know, you can't always be fussy. You have to start somewhere to have some experience. You know, what bit of advice would you say other than what you mentioned before? You know, is there any other sort of your take on how you work?
Yeah, I would get ordering, I would get structuring, but it's very much unique to the person. Depends where they're starting from. Do they have a show reel? Do they need one? Do they have experience? Are they where are they at? They just thought, oh, I'd love to be an actor. Well, fine, I can take you from there to being an actor and making a living. Are you already got a show reel? Okay, so you're there, right? I know what to do. What statistics are you going to have in your business? Have you done it? You know, every week that it's got to be done. I had a slight week off, and I'm making it up now. And this is where it will get to the point for me with an agent is, you know, I'll be glad to hand it over.
Yeah,
but because I'll need them to manage that side. But for me right now, I'm doing well. I'm making a living, and I'm able to do it.
Oh,
but yeah, for them, it just depends. Where are they at? You know, and each circumstance is different. They're an individual, and is it that they just need to? They want to learn acting? Is it that they? But again, I think with any art, is a painter just needs to paint, a writer just needs to write, an actor just needs to act. Don't give me a technique. Don't give me all this shit that I went to university, excuse my French, to learn. But I could just act. That's what I did. I'm an artist. That was my ability, and I can act. So I didn't need to go to uni to be told how to act when I already knew how to act. I've been doing it since I was 3.
Yes.
So it was, I just needed to be getting out there and doing it, but I didn't understand the business side of it. And it is a business. It really is. So you need to be self-employed. You need to understand about tax. There's so much more to it than the joy of just the acting. I mean, that bit's wonderful.
Exactly.
But there's just so much more to
it. There is, because I think this is a good thing to have, actually, because there's a lot more to it than what people think, you know, because the audience out there, you know, it's all the glam that they see at the front, all the glitzy, but they don't see all the hard work and graft, blood, sweat, tears, long hours.
Relentless.
Yeah.
They're relentless. You have to be relentless at it.
This is it, you know, this is what I admire about it, because, you know, you do get a lot of times when I think nobody realizes, unless you're actually doing it yourself or even witness it while you're on the set, or actually know someone that's actually already doing it, you know, because I remember the first time I did it, I was on a Netflix, And first time I went in for after the audition, I thought I was going to get cut off because I was on it was long hours on the night. You know, I had like 2 breaks. They were spread out pretty well, but it got up to a late evening, and I couldn't believe it how many takes there were. There was one particular one that was there, and then um, there was one scene while I was there. I was in a scene as if I was like in the House of Commons, and I couldn't believe it. I went in and I was like, right, take after take after take, and it was on there. And then the director and people were there. They were like, I had it all here, and you could see it on the visual, you know, on the monitor, on the screen, and you could hear him laughing because they could probably see me from a different angle while I was like the way I was looking, because they said, yeah, I have to look surprised that the Prime Minister's walking in, and I was like this, shuffling some paper, and then I just looked up and I was like, I didn't know how, because I couldn't see how I looked like, because obviously they could see how I looked like on the camera, and there were like different facial sort of expressions of how I looked, and some of them were like, I thought, why are they laughing? And I don't know, maybe I went cross-eyed or something, or I did something funny with my face, because it was just a feeling. As soon as they said, right now, and then it was a time when I had to take my mask off, you know, during the pandemic thing, you know, when they said, look, when you're on set, when you're doing lines or you're doing something, as soon as the camera rolls, the masks were off, and then that was it. We had masks back on. Were you around that time when you had to do some auditions or even be on set? Did you have to have your
Well, in the
mask?
main pandemic, no, I think the arts industry was really shut down a lot. What I'm loving now is that theatres are open.
Mm,
And I've been to my local theatre, and I think
mm,
it's amazing. But yeah, I get it. It was a crazy time for artists, wasn't it, Phil? I mean, it was just so,
crazy.
but it's gone now, and we're
Yeah,
here. So
yeah,
we're moving forward, and
yeah.
things are opening up. And I do any acting, you know, whether it's if I haven't got work on and I need to be an elf, I will be
Yeah.
an elf at Christmas to
Wow,
bring in the money, because
awesome.
it's my integrity. I've got my
Yeah,
child to feed.
of
I've
course.
got, so it's not an ego thing. It's what I do. And
Yeah,
if I need to do that before, and then I can get an amazing day rate where I'm doing this thing that I was doing last week, and then I get a
yeah,
fortune for a couple of days work,
yeah.
is what it is,
Brilliant.
you know. But I'm willing to do all of it. I'm willing to experience all of it. There's none of it that I resist. And I think that's just my take. I know some people that won't. They'll be like, I only work with A-listers. I only do, and I understand that. That's fine. For me, I just want to be working. I love what I do. I love acting. I love
That's
putting a
good.
costume on. I
Yeah,
love being something else. It's my passion. So
yeah.
as much of it as I can, I love it.
I can feel that energy. It's brilliant. It's the same when I do this. I remember the first time I did this pilot episode with a great friend of mine, Io, which I'm going to have on again around this week. And I've just been buzzing, you know, as even like behind the scenes, folks, you know, you and I, you know, obviously this is unedited, you know, I don't mind. This is all sort of, I've got nothing to hide. I couldn't believe it. Even last night when I sent you messages, Francesca, I couldn't believe it. You know, after we
It was
spoke,
brilliant.
it was just booming. I was like, what the heck happened? I've gone from talking to you to somebody else, and then it just went, just rocketed. Even Jamie Denyer, yeah, by chance, folks, Jamie Denyer, they know each other as well, because it's not just an act. You know, Francesca's not just an actress or a presenter. She was also a well-known speaker, just like Jamie Denyer. But they actually know each other.
Yeah, Jamie got me to. I performed at I think it's the Princess Theatre in Wales. I went down with my son when he was younger, and we did a big motivational um, day, and it was brilliant to meet. Jamie's amazing. He's phenomenal. He inspires people massively. And yeah, I did. I did a talk and wore a wonderful outfit and did a talk on stage and inspired people, and it was really lovely. It was a really good response, really good gig. Um, yeah, I think helping each other. We just got to help each other.
This is it. You know, it's a good thing to have on there. You know, it's one of those things with myself. I think I've also brought more confidence within myself by doing these, because I remember several years ago I was always talking to family friends. I thought, well, how do I get into presenting, or or radio. I managed to get into radio through an old school teacher. He bumped into me, and it was I didn't really mind. It was volunteering. It was something. It was an experience for me. Any experience is good for me. And he said, "Well, look, with your type of your character, the way you are, personality, give it a go." So I gave it a go, and I ended up having a show that I was doing that I ended up co-hosting with a dear friend of mine, Mo Stone, and I remember one time when I came in and I was looking at this board. I had no idea what on earth this board was. I thought, what the heck is this? It's got a whiteboard with all different directions and a sun on it and symbols. I thought, is this what they have for the weather? What they'd have, like when you see on the BBC or on ITV, and when they go, look, here you go, here's the sun, and today is going to be at 25 degrees Celsius. It's going to be hot here and there and everywhere. And he just laughed. He said, no, 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 that's not. That's just sort of a little bit of an idea of sort of symbols of different things to let you know what they are and what to say. And I thought, oh my God. And I had this monitor, like you would probably with your experience as well, where you got a playlist of songs and things like that. And I was totally baffled because it was like the first time I came in, I was like, oh my God. I was like, right, now I'm in the zone. I've got my own zone here. And then the moment the red light came on, you're on air. And I was like, oh, here we go. Action. And I was buzzing. You get that feeling, the moment it's like with a camera rolls, the moment it's like, right, go. And that's it. It's totally different, isn't it? When other people where they're watching you, but when you're actually doing it yourself, it's the same with me, with when I do that. It's with myself here, even now, even if I'm recording or pre-recorded or even live. I think I like connecting. It's like yourself. You have that connection with people, but with your acting, you give that connection to someone. Like guys, you should the audience out there, you should see Rebound. It's brilliant. A character in that Fran, and even what else was it? There was also another one. Was it when you was on a farm? Oh, that was brilliant.
Oh, that was funny. Yeah,
that was hilarious.
Yeah, that was reality TV. So I've done reality TV as well. Yeah, I've got a couple of films that will be coming out soon that I've done recently. I'll be updating my reel, to be fair, because I've done so much work recently. So yeah, there'll be that, and there's going to be continuous work. This morning I was getting some more headshots done. So
brilliant.
Yeah, it's good. So I do get it. But I think that, it's like with anything, if somebody said to me, oh, start skipping now, well, I'd need to skip for a bit before I felt confident again.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just do it.
Yeah.
The answer for me is just do it. Just do it. Don't think, just do. Just do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Say yes. Say yes. Say yes.
Oh, it's amazing. It's like I must admit, I was really, really shocked, Francesca, when I actually heard from Silvio CMAC. I've got him coming up on the show as well this week on Thursday as well. Yeah, he was in Unleashed, in the action films. He does stunts, in his martial arts, and I couldn't believe it. I remember the first time I just like tapped on the phone, and I thought, is that going to be his agent? And he's like, "Hi, Phil." Wow, this is getting real.
Yeah, but look at all the actions that you've done. All the actions that you've done before that.
Yeah.
Down to learning calendars, down to the admin, down to this, all those actions that you've done.
Yeah.
Relentlessly, consistently, doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's it. It's actually so simple, really.
It's the approach.
It really is.
Because I think sometimes you have to be. I've learned this as well. I don't know if it's with yourself. I don't think it's just the confidence. I think it's the approach. Because if you, with myself, because I mentioned that it'd be an honor if I'd be able to get your backstory, like to get you out there. Because you do get a lot of people where you do get times now where it'd be nice to actually go out there and sort of share what they're doing, because sometimes you only hear it like on the news, you might hear a little bit out there, on the telly, and that'll be it. And then all of a sudden, it will just go quiet again, And I like to be consistent, up to date. If something happened, and then you'll just say, "Oh, that happened last week. That happened last year. That happened 3 years ago. What's happening now? What's going on?" And people like to be refreshed, and I like to keep people, with some fresh news. If something's happening, after you've got there's a lot of actors and actresses, they've got NDAs now. When that's over, when things are sort of when you're able to reveal what you're doing, because obviously there's a lot of things when they go out live. Like if I was to go out and present now, and there was like a new Avengers film, and they're like premiere, and I got out a microphone, and I'm there, hello, this is for the Phil Carew show, and then all of a sudden you think, well, hold on a moment, because sometimes you have to go through all these different stages to get to that, there must be a lot of different things where like there's do's and don'ts, and I've learned the hard way to not to feel too what's the best way of putting it, desperate, because when you feel desperate and you see too desperate, a lot of people didn't think, whereas I've actually approached it and I say, look, take your time, when you're ready, book me. Oh my goodness. I look back, I was like, wow. There's about 8, 10, 15 like people. My busiest day, I must admit, and I'm saying this on this episode, is a Thursday. My busiest day will be a Thursday because I've got Sylvia C. Mac on that, and I've also got a local business couple. They've got their own barbershop, and they started off several years ago, and they moved on from having their own like 2 or 3 branches of barbershop into doing something else, like to do with like teeth whitening and things like that. So I've added on different things like you would do like with your acting and presenting, you just add on experiences, what they would do with their services, and that's what you're, similar to what you're doing, and they're building on that. And I spoke to them the other day, and they were shocked that they said, "Yeah, we'll be honoured to do it, because don't be scared to ask, because they say if you don't ask, you don't get."
Exactly.
This is it, and it just felt good, being able to, even like yourself, you must feel like, when you'll have that, when someone will come up to you and say, "Do you know what? I really appreciate you. Thank you, Fran. You've helped me through the process of this, going through that." And one of the good reasons of why I've started doing this, because I like to share. You don't know who's listening and where this will filter through. I mentioned this to Jamie on one of the last episodes. I said, look, you don't know who will be listening, who will be watching, and then they'll say, well, do you know what? Actually, yeah, that relates to me. I want to do that. Let's go and do it. That lady's inspired me. Let's get up. Let's go and do it. Stop just rubbing my hands. Let's just go in there and, have something there to, and grow it with both hands and start, just the first step is taking that step, isn't it? The first step.
That's right.
What would you say in terms of some other new younger ones now? I know there's a lot of workshops starting to try and sort of start up now. With the performing arts stuff in and around sort of Essex and around sort of the UK, because I've noticed that it's become quite a popular thing now, isn't it? Performing arts has become a good thing in schools, as well as outside of school. It gives them a bit more insight of confidence building, like you mentioned. Their confidence, meeting new friends, and it's quite a good social thing as well, isn't it? As you get other people where they go into these workshops, being in and around with people, because some people are not, they're not used to being in an environment where they might be, they're not always be people's person. And they turned out they realized they didn't realize they had that talent until they sort of kicking it off. That quiet person that weren't quite sure about themselves, all of a sudden this beautiful art comes out that they've exposed to the world, all of a sudden comes out, and you're like, Fran, where'd that come from? He's like, well, see, told you. I knew there was something about you in there.
That's it. Sorry, I wasn't quite sure what the question. What?
Yeah, what about workshops in terms of what would you say in that sort of like workshops? Have you got your own, or would you sort of recommend as a starter, for not just youngsters but anyone start off these acting workshops, you know, like even as a base.
Yeah, acting workshops are great. And you can meet like-minded people, get in the environment of other people. I'm going down to the Playhouse on Tuesday because I know there's loads of artists from Leeds
Yeah.
there that I'm going to meet. To just, you know, it's being in the environment, being around the right people, being with people that create things, finding like-minded people. It's brilliant. And also, you know, being in a I think it's really important. I don't feel art can flourish in like make wrongs, if that makes sense. In validation, it can't, because somebody is trying things, and if they feel, they'll withdraw. You know, if they feel that they've been a bit, you know, they'll withdraw, which means that they can't express themselves in the way that they want to. Obviously, there's, you know, somebody going absolutely lunatic and stuff like that would be a totally different thing. A bit psycho. But what I'm saying,
I love it. I love
it. Just putting the barriers there, actually, mate. But what I'm saying is, it's really important to go to workshops where you're validated. Go to workshops where you feel safe. A safe environment is really important, because when you get out there and you do it, you know what? Life is life. Like in any job, you're going to meet people that aren't nice. You're going to meet people that do criticize you. Guess what happens when you're doing well? You get people criticizing you. You get people trying to stop you. It might be people close to you. It's a sign of success, and it can hurt and it can be upsetting. So you need to get the grounding in that nice little safe environment to start with, or have something that you can return to, that's your group, that's your hub, because it can be brutal.
So in terms of, if there was anyone that would like your help in sort of services other than just the acting, is there anything you can help? Because obviously you've had experience in presenting as well as acting. You've even, I haven't forgotten this, you've even done some modelling yourself.
I was a child model. I grew up modelling on clothes show lines. So I did do modelling. I didn't like it because before modelling, I wouldn't be able to go out and play because I might get a bruise. So I found modelling quite restrictive for me, because I used to like climbing up trees and when I did the catwalk and things. So yes, I have, but I really like raw and real. I really like truth and truth behind facades, if that makes any sense. Sometimes there's a nice little veneer that's gleamy and shiny and really nice, but I like to perceive the truth and show that. So that means realness in the person, in their art. So some things sometimes are a bit too glitzy and glamour and hi and no, and it's also whatever. And so there's an actress that I really like, Nicola Walker. She's amazing. She did The Split, and she's just in Marriage, and I just love her. She's so real and so relatable, and I really admire her. I really like, if I have a goal of a target or somebody to model, to look at and watch what she does, she's definitely there for me. She's really got it. I like it. But yes, to somebody who needs any help, absolutely. You know, I'm on Instagram, or you can get the email through you. I'm happy for you to pass that on, Phil. Just get in touch, and then we'll see what we can do to get you on the road of success.
Folks, everybody, funnily enough, I was fortunate to actually be able to sort of be part. It started off with a speaker community, and on the speaker platform, and it was then sort of I came across Francesca and even Jamie, because they're part of sort of the speaking platform, being like motivational speaking, personal development, and and Francesca's great. So anyone out there that needs any help, even through myself and even Francesca, please let us know. We're more than welcome to help you. We've been there ourselves. We know what it's like to go through the journey. You know, we've got our ups and downs. Nothing always is going to be sort of perfect, but you know, that's what we're here for, to help you with part of that. In regards to, obviously, through here on the podcast as well, what would you say in terms of sort of travel where would you like to go to? You know, obviously amongst all the acting that you've done, you know, when you're not acting and you're not doing, you're presenting, and even
I'd
the
like to go to the most rural area
mm,
where there is a culture that has not really got any like media or anything,
wow,
and really primitive
yeah,
and raw. And I'd like to just go sit with them and experience them and learn their culture and just
wow.
I would find that fascinating. Yeah.
So what would you say in
I don't
terms
know where that is. It might be, I don't know. But
oh
yeah, that's where I'd go.
that would be great. What about accents? Is there any accents that you like that you can do that you like doing? Just
Um, I can do Liverpudlian. Don't speak to me like that. And then I think with any accent, again, it's a like I. So if I was going to do an accent, I would drill it. I call it a drill, or do it, practice it beforehand but I can pick up an accent. I've done Irish and Scottish and yeah, but I will do an accent,
mm.
but I
Your
quite
favorite?
like
You have a favorite?
mine.
Yeah.
Northern my accent. You know, so I don't things. I mean, I'd have to do it, so I have no attention on it.
Yeah.
Um,
I
but
see.
yeah,
Yeah.
does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, your attention's on an accent and it's not on your art. If that
Yeah.
makes any sense to me, it's
Yeah.
not on
I know what you mean. Yeah.
the communication that you're putting out, the effects that you're creating in the audience.
Right. If you had, what is your favorite meal? If you was to have one right now, and the choices, just like that, right? You had a menu right in front of you. You didn't have to worry about it. And they said, right, here's a choice. Here are all our choices we've got here. What would you like to eat right now if you had the choice?
Probably eat a fillet steak right now.
Ooh, nice.
Mm.
Oh, now you're making me feel like I want to have a fillet steak now.
And I'd have it
Thanks,
medium.
Fran.
I'd
Thanks,
have it
Fran.
medium.
Would you have any garnish on it? Or what would you have on it?
No, I'd have some nice veg around it, some broccoli or
Ooh, yeah.
maybe some green beans or something, but something nice, yeah,
Mm.
around it.
All right. Would you have a soft drink or would you have a glass of wine? Your wine
I'd
lady.
have a water, and if I was treating myself, probably a Diet Coke.
Ooh,
Yeah, I do like a Diet Coke every now and then. But I drink a lot of water,
yeah.
and I'm actually I've got back on it, and I work with my dietitian now. So yeah, I'm back into fresh whole foods, and my son, because he's doing his sports and things,
Yes,
I'm
of course. Yeah.
supporting him, because otherwise, the thing is when you train a lot, like he trains so much, you can easily grab
Yeah.
the crab.
Yeah.
And
It's easy, isn't
so
it? It's just convenient, isn't it?
I'm honestly, feeding him is like second mortgage. It's like it really is, because he has a dinner when we get in at 4 o'clock from school, so he needs his dinner then. This is after
Wow.
breakfast or whatever. Then he goes training, and then he needs another dinner.
Wow.
So it is like, but I get it. So I make it so that I have my lunch really when he gets back in from school, and I have my dinner later when he's in from training. But even just now, that's just the job of mum. Never mind the acting jobs on the top. That's just one tiny little bit of the job of mum. But the amount that has to be done to keep all this moving is it's quite amazing. It really is.
Oh, it's brilliant. You know, as you know, I really appreciate you coming on, Francesca, because I've got a feeling there'll be sort of bigger and greater things that come with this. In regards to sort of all other things that were mentioned, what would it be in terms of people having to deal with like the way you got into a position where you were a supporting actress and you were award winning, folks? I thought I'd make you aware of this. Francesca's actually an award winning supporting actress. You know, she all the blood, sweat, and tears. You know, went through all of that. You know, to be able to get that. You know, and you got nominated, and then you got it. You know, and
Two. I got 3 nominations, 2 wins.
There you go.
Which was nice. Yeah.
Double whammy.
Yeah, exactly. So it was, yeah, that was, I mean, what I love about Rebound is it was a group of us. It was Andy who had written the script, and I went down and auditioned for it, and none of us had any money to make this production.
Yeah.
But we did it anyway. Again, it's that whole just do it. Yeah. And it's ended up on Amazon Prime. So, you know, it's just we did it, and that's why I'm saying do it. Do anything. Be doing your art. Like for me, doing an elf is great. I'm doing my art. I'm going out to work and I'm earning money acting. So, but then at the other time, I can get this beautiful glitzy part, which is wonderful. Great. I'm doing my art acting. It's all acting. Is it on purpose? Yeah, it's acting. Great. Is it heading me towards that goal? Where's my target? My target's there. Yeah, it's acting. Let's go.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant, because I've noticed that with myself, you know, it must be like yourself to be able to build on your craft. With myself, I would say that it's the content. You know, I do so much, even when I'm not dealing with the children, helping my partner out, Meg. I'm also sort of always looking. It's like doing your homework. You know, again, it's the same that you have to sort of focus on in what you're doing with the acting. You know, you're always building on your craft, and you know, forever changing.
You live and breathe it, don't you?
Yeah, you're evolving. You
live and breathe it.
That's it.
You know, straight to last night. Yeah, I know there was a screenwriting thing, and I didn't make it. It was 8 till 10 or whatever, and it's writers that write, and they need actors to jump on. And that time, he just needed his tea, so I was like, oh no. And I had my headshots in Ilkley this morning, so I thought, no, I need to do the ironing of the clothes instead. But again, it was on my attention that 8 till 10, I can be doing that just to meet people, doing my acting. Do I get paid? Does it? No, but I'm helping out new script writers. Exactly. And it's just a doingness. Just be pouring, you know, what you pour energy on, you end up having. So just keep pouring energy on it. Keep in whatever format it's coming, you know, and the acting level grows. And you know, the more you do it, the more confident you are. And God, you know, if you can go out and do promenade performances with live audiences that can shout anything or do anything, and you can react to it, and you can, you know, you get the confidence. There's so much confidence in that to then going on set and they're just like, cut action, and you've got a couple, you know, before they take the net. It's so easy, isn't it? It's just like, this is easy. You know, that's the thing. It's the acting bit generally isn't. It's the promotions, the doingness, you know, I've said a thing through. I've got an audition on Friday, and then now we said, oh yeah, can you learn this poem now to do it? And you know, piece, and it's all the line learning. It's you know, there's so much to it, but to that little bit. And I think it's like anything that's worth it, whether it's an entrepreneur as a business, whether it's anything, you have to do massive action to get anywhere with it. You have to. And so it's finding, I think for me, I've found a way that I can be doing massive action. So I'm not like, oh, well, I can't do it because I haven't got cast. No, I'll be doing it. I'll find a way to do what I do. Yes. And that's I think that's where I had things. Oh, I need to be given a part to do my acting. Oh, it's a catch-22. No, fine, I'll do Rebound. We'll create a part, or I'll do this, or I'll be practicing, I'll be rehearsing, I'll be doing self-tapes. So there's so many platforms out there, and you can always be doing something.
Yeah, keep yourself busy.
Keep yourself doing on it. Keep yourself doing. Pour the coals on. Pour the energy straight onto it.
No, that's great advice, Fran, because I think I feel like, even like myself, this is actually what keeps me busy. You know, and I'd love to keep doing this, and potentially even be able to do this full time, you know, and help others out.
Yeah.
You know, not just doing interviews, but also helping others out. So, while I'm doing this, I'm sort of getting used to presenting my own show, and it feels amazing. Even be able to share stories and information out there with other people, because it doesn't feel, you know, it's nothing better than knowing that I'm able to have this type of power to share with other people. You know, it's great, because being able to share information for what you've done and what you're doing now and getting it out there. And I think most of us, we feel too scared of what others will probably feel. And really, you know, rather than asking, and say, it's all that self-doubt again, isn't it? You know, when you think, oh, I don't know, shall I ask?
Yeah, it's doing it for others, and it's still. I mean, I even felt it with me. I was like, oh man, am I going to take that job? It's Halloween, but it's 9 days work. Oh, actually, no, I'm going to do it. And then the thought of, oh, well, what that person think of me? They're a actor that, only works with A-listers. What will that person think? Oh, they're a, and it's all that. And then I thought, interesting. I'll observe it. I couldn't give two hoots. What does the audience think of my art? I can't do anything with that. What's somebody going to think, when as I go up, I am going to get slammed. I know it. I am going to get criticized. I am going to get pulled down and this and that. Bring it on. So what? I couldn't give two hoots.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm getting better. But I'm sure it will do, just like the thought I had, oh, well, what will they think? And I thought, oh, that's weird that they're in my thoughts. Why would I even care about what their consideration was, or that person's consideration, or whether I'm, should be doing that, or, and all of that. And it's, I hope I can help people.
Yes.
I hope I can. But then if it's not true for them, then I can't. But if it is true for them, then I can. But it has to be them. I only ever want to help people to help them, to help themselves. And a lot of it is, like you say, not giving two hoots what anybody else thinks. Am I bringing up my child with my art? Yeah. Wow. That's successful to me so far. Obviously it's going to get, I'm doing that. That's amazing. So I look at it like this. Am I working towards my goals? Am I in work regularly? Yes, yes, yes. And it's like, okay, well then, am I buying my son? Am I able to get my son the Christmas present I want to get him because of my art, because of my ability, because I'm getting paid for my ability? Yes, great.
Blood, sweat, tears.
A great mom, and I'm an actress. Amazing. I'm winning.
Blood, sweat, tears, laughter.
Yeah.
Bang, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
process. My dad said something amazing, and I admire him very much. He said, Franny, focus on the process. The money comes. Just keep doing the actions. And it's nice. It's true. Just keep doing the actions. Just keep doing the actions. Just keep doing it.
Oh, that was also a great thing I'd like to mention on here. What your dad did. I did my homework on it, and for the Ukraine appeal.
Yeah.
So that really touched me. That was amazing. All hats off to him. To your dad, it's a great thing to do. 10%. Wow, even be able to do that with all the stuff that he's been doing. To do that, and even to help, even to help those that they don't even know. And you're helping somebody. That's a good thing. You're helping someone. Doing that, and some people, okay, it's fair enough. They choose not to, but even doing it, even it feels quite refreshing. You actually you know that someone's out there that's willing to help. And it's amazing. There's be a great thing to hear a lot more often. These days, with people going out, being able to go out and help in any way. It's for anyone. Even like yourself, if they're struggling with something and they say, "Well, look, Phil, somebody, Francesca, somebody. Yeah, what is it that you need help with?" That's what we're here for.
Building a beautiful community where we help each other all win. And There's not many, that's a really high emotion to have, because there's not many people. There are people that really do that, but a lot are can be quite, guarded and not want to help somebody else because it might feel like they lose their part, or there's that feeling of scarcity. There's not enough of the two of us, or so to have a group where you're all winning, and I can promise you all win helping each other. You really do. It's a beautiful thing, and it's beautiful that you think like that, Phil. It's lovely. It's amazing. It's really positive. I really admire that in you.
Thank you, Fran. This is what I like to pursue, keep pursuing this with more episodes that has more value, more information, in regards to that. Because I think sometimes certain things that other people would like to talk about, they're not able to, because it doesn't filter through. It always stays just here, and every time I'm listening to someone, I'm always thinking of different things. I think, oh, hold on a moment. Will that go through to this, or will someone mention that, and how will they be able to share this? because I mentioned this to Jamie on one of the last episodes as well, and other guests. You know, what about the small wins? Like for example, you know,
All
what
a series of small wins, isn't
exactly.
it?
Yeah,
The
exactly.
big win comes from all the small wins.
Exactly. Yeah, so there's baby steps, wins.
And then people just say, oh, you got a lucky break. You think, my bloody God.
No.
It's like the entrepreneur that, you know, suddenly driving around in a Porsche. They're not seeing him starting in his room, or, you know, all the hustle and the hits and the this and the keeping on going, and the people that probably backstabbed him, and that, and the brutalities and the ups and the downs. And, you know, it's incredible for people to keep going. Artists, entrepreneur, any person, the mom that works so bloody hard, bringing up the children and feeding them and making sure that they're at school on, you know, the homework. That is one hell of a job. I love moms. I admire them. And that is one heck of a job. And yeah, just all, I think people are phenomenal the way that we keep going. They're just amazing, because it isn't easy. No matter where you are, the grass isn't greener, and I've learned this. And it isn't, it's tough. It's tough. No matter whether you've got a load of money surrounding it or not, life isn't a really easy ride. And if it is, you're not trying to do anything. You're just sitting in your little safe bubble, happy with your lot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I'd love to have you on again soon, Francesca. You know, if you accept to be able to come on.
Yeah,
you know,
I've loved it, Phil. It's been great.
No, I really appreciate that. You know, folks, when you watch and even listen on this, because I know I'm going to be able to convert this onto Spotify and some other sort of other platforms, and even watch this on YouTube, it would be great, because you know, for the first time, I'm actually sort of pursuing this. I remember Fran, I was mentioning this to my eldest son, Riley. He'd probably laugh, actually, sort of after watching this. He'll say, "Dad, you're doing it, Dad. You're doing it." Because there's a few sort of things when I was watching, you know, when you hear these YouTubers, you hear these podcasters, you hear all this, and I was trying to find different ways of tips, trying to do this, do that, how to start, all the different things. And he said, "Dad, look, you're doing it. You don't have to keep looking at this, that, all this professional sort of stuff. Okay, you know, I'm building on it, and you know, I behind the scenes, you know, look out, you know, stay tuned, folks, because there will be some great things coming up. You know, we're behind the scenes, and this is obviously uncut as well with Francesca herself and I. We've got some things going on behind the scenes, which will keep you intact with, and keep you in tune with what we're doing, because we've got some things going on which were going on in the background, some great work that will be coming up, you know, which we will share with you.
And I just want to acknowledge something, Phil, that you've said, and acknowledge you in this a lot. As artists, we have, and this is so hard for me. I had this big vision and this big goal that's also, it's almost impossible to reach, but I can see it, because I've got the most beautiful imagination and ability to create with my imagination. And yet I'm here. And I think, how the hell do I get there? And then it overwhelms. And then I'm like, okay, I really need to take this back. And I'd find it so hard. And then I'd give up, because it was just too hard. And I wanted to be there. And I can see it, and I can always smell it and touch it and feel it and experience it. And I can experience that dream. And, oh, it's amazing. And, oh, God, I'm here. Right. This is, you know, and it's that. And I totally get it. And that's why I'm saying, just be doing. Do anything, because when you're doing, you're not thinking about it. And like my dad says, just do the process, it'll happen. You end up there, and then by the time you're there, you're like, oh, right, okay, well, I'm gonna expand. I want this now, because we never stop. Creating. We're creators. Artists create.
That's it.
So I get it. So it's having somebody there that can validate you along the way, a group, like, you know, that can really, you're doing great. Let's, you know, ignore the losses, ignore them, focus on the wins. Let's really, you know, that's great. I've got this, you know, thing that I'm going to have regular money, maybe at Halloween and Christmas. Great. I've got some auditions coming in. Great. You know, all the time I've got my self-tapes out. I've applied for this many jobs. You know, it's just really validate where you're at.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Francesca. And I'll honestly, everybody, this would be great because I know Francesca's got some great things to come. I've got a great feeling about it.
Thank
Even the
you.
material that she's been going through and the other things, I will keep you all updated with some great things that will be going on with Fran, because I'm sure she'll be able to update us with some things as well, some new information that she'd like to share with us when she's ready. Yeah, it's always a pleasure talking to you, Francesca. And
Thank you.